The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. If all the world is a stage, then clearly the United States is kabuki theater. We have games that are being played, not only with lives of Black people, with the shutdown of this entire government. Let's talk about that today. Up first, On the Clock with Georgia Fort.
R&B legend R. Kelly was found guilty of sex trafficking and racketeering. This comes as the star has been on trial since August 18th. He'll be sentenced on May 4th. He could be facing more than 10 years. And let's break down the racketeering charges. Like, what does that make up of, right? And so there were 14 underlying acts, one of bribery, also child pornography. There were more than a dozen anonymous Jane Does, many of them who were underage, who all testified about the different illegal acts, either he performed on them or that he forced them to perform on others. We can go ahead and roll with the latest coverage, Ben, and I'll circle back to you because this has been a saga that has been unfolding for quite some time.
Yes, let's take a look at it.
R&B superstar R. Kelly, once a national, global celebrity, convicted on every count in the indictment, racketeering and sex trafficking. He was found guilty on the first full day of deliberations. It was a quick verdict, which is always a bad sign for the defense.
Today's guilty verdict forever brands R. Kelly as a predator who used his fame and fortune to prey on the young, the vulnerable, and the voiceless for his own sexual gratification.
Kelly was found guilty of all 9 counts in the indictment, racketeering and sex trafficking, specifically arranging sexual encounters with underage victims across state lines. Prosecutors said the Grammy-winning R&B superstar used his fame and fortune to exploit the victims for his own sexual gratification, allegedly luring them into his world and keeping them there through fear and intimidation. Kelly did not testify in his own defense, instead allowing his lawyers to portray him as the victim of groupies, stalkers, and gold diggers. His attorneys accused the government of a rush to judgment and accused the media of running wild. They promised to appeal.
Of course, Mr. Kelly is disappointed. He was not anticipating this verdict because based on the evidence, why should he anticipate this verdict?
Attorney Gloria Allred represented 3 of the victims.
I have been practicing law for 47 years. During this time, I have pursued many sexual predators who have committed crimes against women and children. Of all the predators that I have pursued, however, Mr. Kelly is the worst.
And I have a friend, Stephanie Bertini, who's a reporter. She was out there covering the verdict. And she said that each and every day there were a number of fans who are out there who were continuing to advocate for R. Kelly's innocence. Yeah. It is hard for some people because they grew up listening to R. Kelly's music. And in fact, some people say some of these fans may have also been victims of R. Kelly as well.
That's right. And, it is a testimony to he identified himself as the Pied Piper of R&B. And I think it is a testament to the fact that that's what he has done for so many people who still can't let go of the fact that no matter how much you love his music, we cannot allow this type of predator to exist in our community as Black people. But so many times we find ways of excusing and making excuses for these types of predators. And the people who are victimized are children and young people so many times. I'm glad to see this verdict, no matter how much I loved his music. I did grow up in his music. I mean, high school, I was singing I Believe I Can Fly with everybody else. But you know what? I'm glad this verdict is putting him where he belongs.
And I feel like it is a continuation of of the Me Too movement, and that some of these women who finally, after decades, right, of being silent, of ignoring what happened to them, they've decided to have the courage to speak out against what happened to them. And so I feel like this is a continuation of the Me Too movement. We saw this in the Hollywood industry, in the film industry. We saw this roll out in different sports, right, where you had coaches. So in every facet of life, especially in this country, there have been historically men in positions of power who have abused that power and used it to lure women in, young women usually, and exploitate them for sexual acts. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there are other instances that come to light in the music industry following this verdict of R. Kelly.
Oh, yeah. No, let's be sure. I think that there's a somewhat of a misconception that because of our plight as Black people in this country, it's impossible for us to be ourselves the oppressor and to use our position of power and influence and intimidation as a means of coercing people to do what we want. Racism and white supremacy in America does not preclude the possibility that we have some, I got to remember the rating of the show, some really low life people who will hurt our community if we do not address it. So I think we just have to have a fundamental eye, a clear eye on the difference between fandom and the entertainment industry in general, Georgia, right? You're right. They're going to find a lot more because when you give people power, that's when you see the real test of their character. And some people use their power to manipulate and to abuse. And I think this is the case with R. Kelly.
Well, and in R. Kelly's case, what we learned through the trial was there were so many accomplices, from his manager to his bodyguard, his agent, his driver. There were so many people who were working on his team on him, knew that he, even his driver, hey, can you go pick up this girl? And when you pick her up and you can see that she's 15, 16, 17 years old, or in some instances, if you watched the documentary that was done, you heard that they would go to pick a girl up from high school. So if you're picking a girl up from high school and she's getting in the car with the Letterman jacket, you know she's not old enough. And what did you do? Did you say anything to R. Kelly? Did you say, I'm not going to take her back to your room? Did you intervene?
That's right.
Did you blow the whistle to his manager, to her parents? What did you do? And so there's been so many accomplices that I also think should be held accountable, because if we as a society see a predator who is abusing young women in multiple states in this country, and we stand back and we turn our head as though we don't see what's happening right in front of our face, we are just as guilty.
Evil always has accomplices, right? You can't get away with a lot of this stuff on your own, especially not when you're moving with that amount of money and that amount of power. And therein lies the opportunity for the maximum abuse. And, you know, the framing of the judgment against them, you know, Georgia, I'm not one to cast, you know, my own sense of morality on other people, with one great exception: consensual adults. And for everybody who is still caping for R. Kelly, let me tell you something. Y'all are on the side of a pedophile.
Ben, have you been following a story this morning as well?
Oh, Lord. Now I have to pull myself out of that and actually talk about some other ones that are the national stage, in particular, the Republican Party playing games with America. We are facing the threat of a shutdown yet again, and this is a manufactured crisis because the Republican Party is refusing to increase the debt limit. Now, to be sure, the debt limit is connected to all of the spending that has occurred already. And if you think about the spending that has occurred already, you cannot have this conversation without talking about Donald Trump's 2017 tax cuts for the rich. That's why we have to increase the debt ceiling in the first place. And this is the game. This is the kabuki theater that I was talking about. Here are Republicans yet again, knowing full well that they are going to have to fund this government. They're playing a game, threatening another shutdown, and we go through this every so many years. Let's take a listen to this clip of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, as he explains why he feels that we should not increase the debt limit, even though it is a standard normal course of procedures for our government. Let's take a look.
Republicans have cautioned them for 2 months now that we will not help them implement this reckless $6 trillion spending plan by raising the debt ceiling. It's time that they took it seriously, that they funded the government to keep it open past next week, and that they avoid any kind of default on our debt next month.
Well, we'll be watching what Senator McConnell proposes.
For more than 2 months now, Senate Republicans have been completely clear about how this process will play out. So let me make it abundantly clear one more time. We will support a clean continuing resolution that will prevent a government shutdown, get disaster relief to Louisiana, help properly vetted Afghan refugees who put themselves on the line for America, and support the Iron Dome assistance for our ally, Israel. We will not provide Republican votes for raising the debt limit.
The first voice we heard was Senator Tom Cotton, and the second voice was that of Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is trying to position himself as reasonable, saying we'll do this, we will do X, we will do Y, we will do Z, but we can't do any of those things that the government shuts down. And therein lies the game that they play every so many years. And when they talk about the debt ceiling, we have to tie it. It is inextricably linked to the 2017 tax cuts of Donald Trump, because we would not be dealing with this exacerbated debt if not for those tax breaks.
This is what I want to know. So researchers at Brown University say that we spent nearly $6 trillion during the war in Afghanistan.
That's right.
So if we can find $6 trillion to just throw away at war, a war that many would say we didn't even win, why is it that we're sitting here trying to act like we can't find the money, we don't have the money? Why are we sitting here acting like we have to shut down our government? The money is there. And if it's not there, the decision to continue to go into debt, I would prioritize going into debt to ensure the quality of life for Americans all across this country versus a $6 trillion bill for a war in Afghanistan. We didn't even understand why we were there for 20 years. So if we can find $6 trillion, if we can justify going into debt, even if that was $6 trillion that we didn't necessarily have, but that maybe drove us further into debt. If we can prioritize and justify that, why are we sitting here basically playing Russian roulette with the lives of American citizens? It's not fair. Yeah. And I think that what we have seen over the last 2 decades, and Trump playing a huge role in this, is that we have administrations who continue to fail at making good priority lists. The American people and our quality of life should be at the top of that list.
One of the things that Speaker Pelosi, I've heard her say that Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that I actually agree with. She says, show me your budget, you show me your values and your priorities. And you asked the fundamental question, Georgia, how is it that we have trillions for war? But not only do we not have enough money to feed the poor, ostensibly, we don't have enough money to run our government. So I would ask the audience this question: what good is this government, especially under the control of people like Mitch McConnell, bad faith actors in general? What good is that government if it can't even support itself? Why are they ruling over us and they don't even have their own house in order?
Yeah, for a second there, I thought you were reciting some Tupac lyrics. Got money for war, but can't feed the poor.
Feed the poor.
I digress. But definitely a Tupac fan. And even then, and that was in the 90s. This was still a fundamental issue that we are a country that will prioritize going into other countries overseas where we have no jurisdiction, no authority, and calling ourselves, getting their house in order. Yet and still, we have people who are living in tents all across America. Right. We have bridges that are collapsing. We have children who do not have adequate education because of the infrastructure within their school. There are still kids in rural America who don't have access to the internet. So how do we justify spending $6 trillion at war? And I'm sure that wasn't just paid out in cash. I'm sure some of that was collected in debt. So how do we justify that? Yet and still, we are not living the American dream here in America. Many of us.
That's right. And as you go down the list, I'm thinking of Flint, Michigan, still dealing with lead pipes. Right. There's all parts of this empire that's crumbling from within. And we have leaders, politicians, senators who are drunk with folly and their bigotry, playing games with the future of this country. See, Georgia, I can understand the games that they play with our lives because they've been playing with our lives since they stole us and brought us here. Right. But they don't even value the life of their own empire. And so we'll discuss that and a whole lot more before I go off on a tangent, because it really represents to me the full abdication of their responsibility as the government if they can't even function. And this is a game that's being forced on us. It's an unnecessary game. It is a kabuki theater. We increase the debt limit on a regular basis. And Mitch McConnell knows that, but he needs something to throw to his constituents, his bad faith actors that are supporting it.
Well, and I'll add this before wrapping. I think this is why you see so many people who have started to invest in alternative economies. You have people who are looking at Bitcoin and, all of these new ways to invest or to monetize money, really, and so these different economies, I think for the people who want to prioritize the people, these things are going to become more and more prominent in the future. I think that if the administration, if our current government structure cannot restore trust within the American people, you are going to see more and more people divesting in our current economy and looking at alternative ways or even community aid. Because one thing I'll say that we saw here in Minneapolis after the civil unrest is the community realized we have everything that we need. We can take care of each other if we come together and we work together. And so while a lot of people are going to the government for, quote unquote, a handout, it won't be needed when people start putting that faith and that trust and giving that authority within the communities that they live in.
Yeah. And Georgia, at the 8:30 segment, we're going to dig into the failure, not only in terms of the infrastructure, right, but the failure as it pertains to COVID-19 in these schools, right? The schools are crumbling, but yet we're sending them into these schools during a pandemic, and we're acting surprised when students are getting sick and teachers are dying. So we're going to cover that at the 8:30 hour. But what you just said was so critical. Right. We are really faced with some life and death decisions that are being all but dismissed by the very people who benefit from the power that we grant them. And I just simply feel that if we don't understand the need to create that secondary path, we have a government that has failed us. We are going to have to look at new technologies, new currencies, new ways of organizing, new ways of thinking, because if this government is going to fail us, then we, the people, are going to have to do it ourselves.
Absolutely. And, when I talk about the erosion of trust, we saw this play out yesterday. I was at a press conference the current mayor of Minneapolis was holding to address the outbreak of gun violence after George Floyd was murdered. The police say because of the defund the police movement, there were a lot of officers who tired or filed lawsuits against the city. But needless to say, they're understaffed. And so they are blaming that understaffing as a result of the gun violence that we're seeing. Since there's not enough cops out there, there's more gun violence. But really, we know that there was gun violence issues in Minneapolis back in the 90s. You can just do a quick Google search of Murderapolis, and you will see that the gun violence issues in Minneapolis existed well before George Floyd was killed. Right. So this isn't a symptom or a result of what happened here a year and a half ago. This is an ongoing issue that now is escalating and getting worse because of the current conditions of police. But yesterday, the mayor, who is, up for re-election, decided to hold a press conference to give people an update on where he stands on public safety. And so, yes, Minneapolis is a city that remains torn. Should we defund the police? Should we abolish the police? Should the police department expand and be a department of public safety? These are all things that are still for debate. And there is a vote that's coming up, a charter amendment. And you can vote yes or you can vote no. And the language has gone to the Supreme Court. And it's been this saga. But one thing that remains constant is that the people of Minneapolis do not have faith or trust in the leadership. I want you guys to take a look at what happened during the mayor's press conference yesterday. And this was supposed to be exclusive for press only. Take a look.
And we all agree that not every response requires an officer with a gun to respond. We can have a unique skill set responding to the unique experiences on the ground. Mental health responders or social workers are prime examples. And by the way, you do not need a charter amendment in order to accomplish those things.
I think that it's important for you to be careful to stand in front of God's house and make promises next to an anointed member of our community as if there's going to be a great change. That's not going to happen. We're going to see you again in the next some years if you elected, making the same promise. You can't keep saying the same thing and doing something different to better your future when you retire. Because when you retire, your house going to be so big, your kids going to be together, but we don't get a chance to retire because we got to dodge bullets and kick ass every day just to get a job. Where's the job market at, man? Ain't nobody. I didn't interrupt you when you was talking. I respect you. And I'm hoping that you'll do the same for me. Right? So it would be a great thing to take a look at where's the jobs, man? Because if I'm working, I ain't got time to shoot nobody. If I'm working, I ain't got time to sell dope. If I'm working, I got to take care of my kids, my grandmama. I'm worried about my auntie now that I ain't seen in years. Where is the jobs? Look at Broadway, man. When you look at Broadway, it's toe up. You know why? Because you have guys or different nationalities that come and boat up the community. All they want is money from us. All they want is our cash or what's on our credit card. And get the fuck out of their store because they think we're trying to steal something. The things that you have put on a plateau is totally obsolete from the real structure that this ground needs. You out of place. You need to be somewhere in a rural community talking that type of talk. In this community.
So this press conference took place in front of North Minneapolis Church. It's a pillar in the community. And the usual Black leaders who support the mayor put this together, and this man, and there was also a member of the new Black Panther Party who derailed his press conference. He was there to, give out information about his plan for the public safety system. And the citizens, the residents of Minneapolis are tired of the political rhetoric. Her name was Angela Williams, the other woman who derailed the press conference, and she basically called him out saying, you're trying to finesse the Black vote. You're here at a predominantly Black church to say all of the right things to finesse. And those were her words. I quote her. She said, to finesse the Black vote.
Yeah, no. There's really not much more to say than what that brother said in the clip, Georgia. Thank you for bringing that. And because he was speaking truth to power, right? Very flat footed and looking at, and I recall Mayor Fry, I recall his walk of shame because he decided to show up at a George Floyd protest last year. And in the midst of a full-on confrontation with the police, if my memory serves me correct, he wanted a kumbaya moment with the people. But no, sir, you represent the state power. And so, of course, you're in the wrong place if you're going to try to stand in front of a Black church that has been a beacon of hope for the Black community in the face of white supremacy and capitalism and say that you're going to change everything for the better. No. We've heard that too many times. And I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. We're not here for that this time. No, not in the year of our Lord 20 and 21.
Well, and I think it's a microcosm of what we see even on a national stage. I mean, how many times have you seen a politician come into the Black community and make all these promises? We saw Biden do the same thing when he was trying to get elected as well. And I feel like that was part of the reason why he pulled Kamala in, was to have an even stronger pull on the Black vote. But the Black community is tired of their vote being finessed. We're tired of these empty promises. And I thought, the rest of the people that were there for the press conference, the rest of the media, they were extremely frustrated because they wanted their time to be able to ask the mayor their questions. And I understand that. And so maybe this wasn't the appropriate place. But if this isn't the appropriate place to have this conversation and for the community to speak for themselves directly to the powers that be, where are those spaces? Where are we creating spaces for a community to express what that man just expressed? Because it wasn't a lie. Every single thing that he said had truth.
That's right. Those type of spaces are incredibly invaluable, and they're exceedingly rare because we have seen, in my experience, Georgia, and I'm sure you could speak about that a lot of times people don't want our Black voices. They want our Black faces and our Black spaces. They would be more than happy to show up at our churches, but don't ask any real questions. They'll be more than happy to show up on your show, but don't ask any real questions. And so we're cultivating a space wherein everyone who comes on and speaks with us will be held accountable at that level, simply because who are we here to serve? Are we here to make politicians comfortable, or are we here to serve the people? And I think that's the dichotomy we saw in that clip you just shared.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Minneapolis, I feel like, remains an epicenter for police accountability. And the world is watching, trying to determine what direction we're going to forward. Minneapolis has a huge opportunity to lay out the blueprint for what policing and public safety could be, and how it could be more equitable, and how it could foster a greater environment for accountability. But unfortunately, I think that due to the uptick in gun violence, people are now very scared to try something radical, to try something new when it comes to policing. They're scared because what happens when we don't have police, and people don't know what that looks like. And for so many, for their entire lives, police have been the ones that have protected them. And most people do trust authority, right? And so, it has been very interesting to follow this as it has evolved, and now to see where it is today. That's and right. to see that potentially Minneapolis could this window to create a blueprint that would change policing across America.
I would offer, with the last few minutes that we have, that we should really consider the nature of the situation. These are our cities. If there are cities, they should reflect us. The leadership should reflect us. But more importantly, the people who patrol our streets should reflect us. And we have been pouring money and taxpayer dollars and lives on the altar of a protection racket. But we're out of time, and I will try to unpack that throughout the rest of the show, Georgia. But you've been stirring up some essential questions this morning, and I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for On the Clock. Keep it here for more on the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Good morning, everybody. Y'all come on in. Trust, we know we working it out now, y'all. It's getting there.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows. Now we ain't
morning, Miss Sophia.
At the gas station,
Brother Latif, good morning. William Moore, good morning, y'all. Good morning.
Fake J's, praying that nobody know. Watch them take my dog away, it was way too hard to stay composed. Fight to see the light of day, all this blood on my clothes. I was tired every day, green light, it's time to go. I don't wanna live life fast or die too young. Die too young. 100 miles per hour, I might crash, cause the good die young. Yeah, the good die young. Push it to the limit, I can't go no more.
Right now, that sounds like
when I'm coming back home. On dirt road, all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in stone.
Ear Hustle, good morning. Lipsha, good morning. Nicholas Rodriguez, Blue Daddy, Brother Chuck Diesel. XOXO Bob, there it is.
Because I know my people needed me. Diamond in the rough, I don't know what it is they see.
Y'all feeling the shirt this morning, huh? I had to take it to the island.
Told me I should leave. I see the bigger picture and it's way bigger than me. Can't be living like a king, but my people need to eat.
Bailey Lau, good morning to you. Yes, doing pretty good. It's good to see you.
Life fast or die too young. Die too young. 100 miles per hour might crash, cause good die young. But here I come.
Laura Estrada, good morning. Infinite Content, good morning to you. Anna Hart, good morning, good morning. Courtney the SLP, good morning. Yeah, we going to the island with this one. We're going straight to Hawaii. DP, good morning, DP.
Coming back home. Coming back home. Y'all coming back home. Y'all coming
back home. Good morning.
I'm coming back home. Y'all coming back.
Nat A. Susan Bradley, good morning, y'all. Infinite Content, I received mine and I think I burned it.
Somewhere on the sea.
Sweet Dingo, good morning. Anna, good morning.
I burned out, so to speak. Now come a little closer. I feel a little light in the light track.
Tiger, what's going on? Tiger, good morning. Environmental Coffee House, good morning to you.
And I know just what to say.
Shosty, good morning.
And I know just what to do. And I'm so sick of pain.
Peter, good morning to you. Promise good morning.
And I know it's safe to the rules in my mind can't find the words, no, I can't seem to find.
Courtney the SLP. Oh my gosh, yes. Anderson.pack. For real. Brenda Johnson, good morning to you. Melanie Nicholas, good morning. Jan, good morning.
Sometimes, honey, me, you put a little bit of gasoline.
Colin, what's going on, man? Good morning to you. Starshine Song Dragon, good morning.
Do you mind quit your pretending. Truth
Melanie Dennis, good morning to you.
Hear me now and stop condescending. You see, I'm begging you, hear me beg. If you're sick for love, don't try to hide it. Find it deep inside and try to hide it. If there's a way, I wanna know who tried it. Quit your games and now that you deny it. Losing this game, I can't afford to be losing this game. And I know it's expect. Losing my mind, can't find the words. No, I can't seem to find. But I'm really trying to get.
All right, y'all. Welcome to the screen. My brother from another mother. Dwayne, roll that intro. Benjamin Dixon, y'all.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back. It's Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. Thanks so much for joining us. I am joined and flanked on the screen by my brother from another mother, none other than DJ Exclusive. Sir, how goes the day?
Good morning, sir. Goes pretty good. How you doing? My TV just turned on with my PlayStation, so I'm just sitting there like, what in the hell? Okay.
He's like, wait. Your TV just cut on by itself?
Yeah, so my TV has a mind of its own. So at one point I have like this little background where it's just a plain background image, so it gives extra light, right? So I guess when it sits idle for too long, the PlayStation decides that she wants to wake up and be active and just turns off my little screensaver and turns on itself. Now it's like PlayStation on my screen with the music in the background. Yeah.
Brother, that's creepy. It's like she has a mind of her own and she just said, hey, pay me some attention.
Man, it's this freaking technology, dude. That's all it is. Technology is just... What's the word I'm looking for? It's gonna become self-autonomous in a minute. Oh, it's already that.
Yeah. Sentient. Yeah, it's about mind. Thank you, Ben. Right?
Yes, right? That's exactly what I was trying to say.
I think about that on a regular basis, man. You and me exist in the same space. The world of science fiction as well as the world of where it intersects with reality, technology. We're fighting against technology as much as we're fighting against white supremacy, if you ask me, because of exactly this first clip we're going to look at. There's power that the right wing in this country has leveraged through technology, through media, and honestly, through the algorithm. And they're using it to push their agenda further and faster than they ever have forced it before. And they have plenty of representatives who will go on national television, claim to be one thing. We see it with Candace Owens. She goes on television, claims to be a proud Black woman, and she's doing the bidding of white supremacy. Here's a clip of Naomi Wolf, who presents herself as an American author and a feminist. But she's on Tucker Carlson, which is funny because Tucker Carlson 100% is an anti-feminist. But that didn't stop her, Naomi Wolf, from going on Tucker Carlson and all but comparing the pandemic restrictions. Here's the gag. We're talking about COVID-19. We're talking about the pandemic. And yet again, here are high-level professionals, I guess you want to call them, James. These are people who are making millions of dollars a year in this country. And Naomi Wolf claims that our response to COVID-19 is as bad as the Holocaust. I crap you not. I struggled hard with that one, James. I really did. Let's run the clip so we can see this BS from Naomi Wolf and Tucker Carlson.
And smearing the people who were othered, were so visibly othered that other people just aligned. Like even if they didn't believe in National Socialism, they're like, okay, I'm going to just keep my head down and, go with it. I keep getting emails from, people in institutions. A doctor sent me a picture of his son in college. He was forced to wear a colored a wristband because he's not vaccinated. Nurses say they're forced to wear colored labels identifying them. And someone actually sent me a photograph outside her very sick father-in-law's door in a hospital of a yellow star. I am not kidding. It wasn't the Star of David, but it was a symbol of unvaccinated. And this is happening all over the country, and it's happening all over the West. And, you know, having read history, it's absolutely terrifying, but what is going to happen to us is what is happening unless we join together as Americans and say, this is not how we do things. I am not going to, those brave restaurateurs in New York who are saying we will not discriminate against anyone, race, gender, sexual orientation, medical status. We are not going to discriminate. What happened to that on the left, right? What happened to that inclusive, egalitarian commitment that everyone is entitled to be welcome and not face discrimination? We all have to join together as Americans and reject the people who are trying to divide us for their own purposes.
It must, I mean.
It sounds so she sounds so reasonable, doesn't she? She sounds so confident. But as with, what's our guy named Dez? I can't think of Dez's last name, but everybody who speaks confidently doesn't actually have something meaningful to say. Dwayne, I want to bring you in real quick because you said something in the background that I think the people should take in consideration. What was that you said while you were listening to Naomi Wolf?
These same people that, you know, talk like this about having to wear an armband or having to wear a mask and you can only go certain places with masks. They didn't care. I mean, I know they weren't around, but it was the same thing with slaves being branded by their owners. Back in the Salem witch hunt days, you know, the Scarlet Letter. None of that matters to them.
And so, yeah, right. Therein lies the hypocrisy. They actually want to pretend as though us asking them to wear a mask, for them to get a vaccine, for them to socially distance. James, I mean, we're talking about we're telling them save your own life, and they're saying, oh no, your request for me to save my own life is analogous to the Holocaust.
It's not fair. It's not fair. I want to save my own life. That's fine. Then die. That video says that. Then die. Then die. Somebody brought up something in the chat though. And I saw it, the first thing that I saw as well too. Y'all see they socially distanced on their set though, right?
Come on. And you know Fox News has a vaccine mandate, right? You have to show your status of whether you're vaccinated or not. You know, so I want to be sure. Go ahead.
No, but I was just gonna say, just sometimes just how they spew this information, and they always just, no, it's not right. We shouldn't have mandates, but y'all are following these mandates right now just by being on TV. Come on now, we're not stupid. You have to be vaccinated, socially distanced, and all of that. It is part of the filming industry, TV production, and everything.
My neighbor works in the movie industry here in Atlanta. And, you know, he speaks all the time about the difficulty of having to work in this industry and make sure that you make all the justifications of if you're not vaccinated, you got to have a religious exemption. Like you really do have to go through a lot to do anything in this country that's making money. But they are telling you, like, what is that? They know everything that they have to go through to safely do their show every day, but they're telling parents, they're telling teachers, they're telling mayors, they're telling school boards all across the country to do the exact opposite of what they're doing. And if you die, you die. Ain't that something? Let's David, do you have that clip? Let me know when you have it. You just dropped it in Slack, and Dwayne, I want us to grab that because James, you said something, and I think this has to be our standing position. There's conversations around the country about the NBA and players not wanting to identify whether or not they're vaccinated because to them, this is the biggest battle of their life. I don't understand that as a black person. I don't understand it. NBA. I don't understand as a black person. Now you saying taking the vaccine is, and you're making this big public stand as if you are, this is the fight of your life. This is your hero's journey. This is your mission quest to stand against something that they are trying to keep from people in Africa. So my reaction is going to be yours from now on, James. For everybody who is out here saying, hey, I'm not taking the vaccine. It's my right. It's my privilege. Well, then we'll let this guy tell you. Run that clip.
I'm not going to get the vaccine, then die. What do we do? Argue with you? I'm not on the debate team. This isn't mock trial.
Hello?
Are you worried about the side effects? I'm worried about the disease. Well, they're tracking you through the microchip. They're tracking you through the phone you're watching this on. Get the vaccine.
That's my final answer. You don't want to get the vaccine? Fine. Then die then. The problem with that is that they're killing other people and they're asking for permission to do that. And that's not how liberty works. No, that's how American liberty has worked, but that's not how liberation works. We're working on liberation around here. Let's shift gears to our daily dose of evangelicals. Never get enough of these guys. This is a religious right pseudo-historian by the name of David Barton, claiming that the Bible instructs religious leaders to be responsible for recruiting political candidates to run for office. Let's take a listen.
If you go to Exodus 18:21, the Bible is very clear. The Bible says, provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, rulers of 10s. Okay, guys, let's have elections. Let's have local, county, state, and federal elections. But how do you get those? It says provide out. What kind of people? Able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness. Provide out. Provide out. Who does the providing? It's interesting. The spiritual leader. Moses says, and he repeats this in Deuteronomy 1, Deuteronomy 16, he says, I went and recruited from among you good people, and I brought them before you and set them before you, and you chose from among those good people. In other words, I recruited candidates for office, and then you elected the candidates you wanted to office. So what happens is there's a recruiting effort going on in the background. Moses is the one who did it.
And I got a lot to say about that. But the first thing I want to ask, James, is do you think he's going to want our type of preachers and our type of spiritual leaders to choose these politicians? Because, we could talk about Jeremiah Wright, not that he chose Barack Obama, but my God, when they heard the type of liberation gospel being preached by Jeremiah Wright, I mean, white folks in this country, particularly Fox News, they lost their damn mind. So I don't really think he honestly wants all religious institutions to be, I said I wasn't going to say everything. I don't think he really wants all these religious institutions. You know, when I get running my mouth, James, I can't stop. I wanted to toss it to you, but this man.
It's okay, Ben, because you spent some stuff. So I was going to yield the floor to you, Brother Ben, Pastor, because you are. It's the truth.
No, not today, Satan. Now you're not going to throw that on me. I ain't nobody's pastor. You ain't Satan, but you are a minister of music.
Yo, you was tripping.
All right, here you go. Let me get back.
Okay, right. Okay, here we go.
I told you to watch me today. Here it is. This man is saying that we have a responsibility as Christians, religious peoples, or spiritual leaders have the responsibility, but he is clearly not talking about all Christianity. He's talking about a very specific white supremacist Christianity that will elect Donald Trump. Look at that. In God we trust. Man, like we could pull up pictures of the Klan inside of churches. Matter of fact, David, would you Google that for me? Klan inside of a Christian church, and they have the flag in there. Man, we ain't worshiping the same God they are, bro. They own some other stuff.
Absolutely not, Ben. That church screams white supremacy right there. It just looks like that's where they hold all the Klan rallies at. Look at it.
It just oozes.
It just oozes Klan to me.
I don't know if the Holy Spirit is in there, but I know some white supremacy is in there for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
That goes back to my point from the other day about controlling the religion.
And actually, it goes back to your point, Dwayne, that you just said a few moments ago. Like they don't see any hypocrisy in the fact that they're now complaining about some simple restrictions, and they had no problem. They are the intellectual precursors to the evangelical conservative movement that we see that is being used by Republicans and conservatism. The intellectual precursors were the same people who would lynch us on Saturday night or Sunday morning and then go to church. So I'm not impressed by all these people out here saying Jesus and Jesus and Jesus. I'm good on that, especially when we watch this next clip. This is a QAnon conspiracy theorist by the name of Dave Hayes, and he calls himself the Praying Medic. He's claiming that following Q, for people who don't know what Q is, a QAnon conspiracy theorist who believe that the president is drinking baby's blood. No joke, that's what they believe. He said that following Q is like being in the special forces in the military. We have been trained by God. We have been trained by Q to adapt, improvise, and overcome. Let's run that clip.
We have to remember that even though we don't necessarily know what's coming in the future, we have been trained to deal with whatever comes. It's like being in, special forces in the military. Special forces groups don't necessarily know what plans, what attacks, what kind of opposition they're going to face when they go into a certain territory. When they go into when they're doing an operation, they don't necessarily know the troop strength that's going to oppose them. They don't know how well armed their enemy is, but they rely on their training. They rely on the fact that they are trained and are equipped, and they're able to overcome whatever obstacle is set in front of them. Well, we're the same way. We have been trained by God. We've been trained by Q to adapt, improvise, and overcome. We've been equipped. We've been trained. We're relatively smart people. We can see through BS narratives, generally speaking. We know how to research and come to the truth. And we can make that information publicly available.
And James, that relatively smart is doing a hell of a lot of work in that sentence. We're relatively smart people. Okay. Bro, I don't know how much you follow QAnon. I've had the unfortunate privilege of studying it and covering it for months, but man, they have to be by far some of the most absurd people in this entire equation. And this dude just compared following Q to following God. I'm sorry, what kind of religion they got going on over there?
The white supremacy kind.
Your country ass.
It's just crazy. If we had him, he was on something else. I remember we played a clip with something else with him on it. And it's
David, do you remember? David, because I know we played him before, the Praying Medic. If you could just drop a chat and recall what you're going to see, James, you nailed it in that one word.
I
one
missed
phrase.
what James said.
The video of the Praying Medic, we've covered him a couple of times. I'm trying to remember what it was.
It's always QAnon or January 6th or Rising Up or Trump returning.
Yep.
It's all that stuff. The one thing I was going to pipe up also about, just to mention in terms of Q, I have to find the article to get it to you, but it's gone global at this point. Like in the recent German elections, there was a German version of Q where from white nationalists who are, I guess descendants of Nazis and still or followers of the original Nazi propaganda and still think that the German government is illegitimate.
Wow. Funny how that works. Anybody, I keep mentioning this movie, The Sum of All Fears, Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman. The plot in that movie was a global pan-reactionary movement, basically a global Nazi movement that found a way to use Russia versus the United States to fight each other so that fascism could win at the end. So when you say that, David, it reminds me of the plot from that movie. I want to get this last clip in before we run out of time here. This is another right-wing preacher by the name of Mario Murillo, declaring that God is going to burn away America's atheism, wokeism, and communism. I think they just like the isms. Let's run the clip.
They like isms. That's all it is.
Somebody help me. It's coming. The judgment on those who would destroy America is coming. Shout. 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 America, God is looking at you right now. And I'm going to tell you, your atheism isn't going to stick. Your wokeism isn't going to stick. Your Satanism isn't going to stick. Your communism isn't going to stick, because there is a God who answers by fire. and see what's happened. God is saying it's our turn now.
David, I got to ask my producer a question. How old is this clip? Because
Right Wing Watch just posted it yesterday.
Shout out to Right Wing Watch.
Wow.
Not a mask in sight.
Look, I'm going to point this out. He said something at the very beginning of this clip and said that, what did he say? Somebody is on the way to destroy you right now. He talking about all y'all ass in that building. Y'all ain't got no mask on. COVID is definitely in the building.
I don't know if the Holy Spirit's in the building, James. I'm joking.
There you go.
COVID is showing up in that building.
COVID.
Anyway, Dwayne, you got to get an organ back there. COVID. Jesus might not be in the building, but some white supremacy is in that building, bro. Because wokeism, he's talking about critical race theory.
Yeah.
Communism, he's talking about any policy that will take money from our imperial wars and use on infrastructure. They consider that to be communism. Satanism, the Satanists have enough sense to get behind the closed doors while the death angel passes through this country to the tune of 700,000 people. And the only ones who are not behind closed doors are the ones who, like other Christians, have to work and go and service the greed of the oligarchs. So I don't want to hear about atheists and Satanists when it's evangelicals who can't see that their hearts. Let's go to break, James. Their hearts are the hearts that have been hardened, and they cannot see that we are underneath the plague of their own creation, the plague of stupidity, the plague of ignorance, the plague of QAnon conspiracy theories. And it's funny, James, how January 6th, QAnon, the big lie, anti-vaxxers all tie into the racism and the white supremacy of this country. And it's funny how all of it goes through these conservative religious circles. And I just want to close out with the one receipt. Dwayne, David, put it up on the screen, because everybody who's talking about Jesus ain't got your best intentions in heart. Let's go to break. It's in your hands. Coming up next, Like It or Not, with Rebecca Azor. We'll be back after this.
All right, y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned. Photogenic, yes, America. Not America, America.
I can let you go, baby. It's done right. We already know, and we feel it. I really do. I said the truth. We can't go any road. Reaching out.
So that, make sure y'all stay tuned. Yo, we got one coming up next. Kareem Ransom, good morning. Brother Luke Kane. Alejandro, good morning. Tyler Hackner, good morning, brother.
It's a sexy smile, looking forward to see you. I hope I won't lose control. Love you every night, but checking the time, just us loving you all night long. I can let you go, baby. It's done right. We already know, and we feel.
Brandy, good morning, Brandy.
I really do. I said the truth. We can't go any road.
Good morning, Mama and Daddy. Good morning. Love y'all.
Let's change the clothes we haven't tried. You know how you make me feel alive. Come close to me. I'm obsessed with your different kind of style. Don't you ever leave, step by my side. On my head, cause I don't have much time. I wanna hug you forever.
Clickbaity political thirst trap. FNL Flaw Dragon, good morning. Esther, good morning to you.
I miss that sexy smile.
Nicki Minaj is swollen. Dragon Squad, good morning. Samaya Caron, good morning to you. Mr. Sexy Smile, looking forward to see you. I hope I lose control. All right, y'all, before we get into the next songs, we want to make sure that we get our new patrons and new Twitch subscribers read off. So shout out to Ron F, Jen J, and LJ515 who joined the Patreon. Want to give a shout out to Canola Oil who subscribed. Welcome. Sis Q Cat who resubscribed for 2 months. Sis Q Cat also gifted 1 community subscription. Sis Q Cat, we appreciate you. Shout out to all my Twitch family. Jam Tomb, thank you so much. Gifted 1 community subscription. Surfer McGritty gifted 1 community subscription. Surfer McGritty also cheered 100 bits. Mimosa Dragon, what's going on? Mimosa Dragon cheered 100 bits. I'm sorry, 200 bits. And Sis Q Cat cheered 10 bits.
I bet when I land, they gon' tell me it's luck again. See that I'm winning, it's harder to watch. I'm setting the stage.
Nicole Johnson, good morning. Good morning to you.
I got your neck, I'ma show you I'm with it. I would really hate for you to sit and watch me win again and win again and win again. I know it's probably getting on me and win a synonym. So if I ever win again, it's no I did the minimum. I didn't have to sell my soul. Oh, yeah. Please don't play no games with me. It was never about the fame to me. They needed the best, so they came to me. Whoa. Who the best in this thing? Tell them, yeah, that's me. Tell them who bring the fire, say, yeah, that's me. Who make it flip, make it bang, ooh, yeah, that's me. Who make the party feel alive, tell them, yeah, that's me. My girl's so proud of your boy when they ask, is that your man? Yeah, that's me. And if I'm taking a shot, I don't miss. Who knew I would be at the top like this? And no one made my goals for me. But I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Cause it's the path that God chose for me. So even if some doors close for me, I still won't let y'all close to me. So please step back where you're supposed to be. Put the game all on hold for me. And sit back, watch me roast the beat. It's in my genes, I'm better than them. And I know my flow too sick, I got the medicine. I'm way at the top, who could take my place? I went too hard, can't feel my face. Who the best in this thing? Tell them, yeah, that's me. Tell them who bring the fire, say, yeah, that's me. Who make it flip, make it bang, ooh, yeah, that's me. Who make the party feel alive, tell them, yeah, that's me. Whoa. Yeah, ooh, yeah, that's me. Who that chillin' at the top, tell them, yeah, that's me.
Sylvia, yeah. Good morning.
Yeah. Tell them, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm chillin' at the top. Yeah, that's me. Whoa.
So, y'all, I gotta tell y'all, I got a terrible disease where I can't stop telling airport jokes. My doctor says it's terminal. All right, y'all. Of course it didn't do it. Hey, so over the weekend, I played my song again for somebody, but somebody took it and they flipped it and they added a little something to it. So just for y'all, here's a remix. I like it or not. I'm gonna add some more stuff to it. But here we go. Yeah. Y'all know what time it is. Get your coffee, your tea, your drink, whatever. Yes. Yeah. It's time for Like It or Not, y'all. Like it or not. Okay, cool. It's going down. Like it or not. It's starting now. Oh, like it or not. It's going down. Like it or not. Y'all stick around. Oh, Rebecca Azor is coming out. You know, shout out Mark. Some vocals on top of her for me. Oh, Benjamin is coming through. That's my dog. Y'all seen that Ed and Eddie gift where Ed the other one is rolling. I am your DJ, DJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am. I stay in the chat room. Like it or not, it's going down.
Legend and Dixon starts now.
Good morning, y'all. Rebecca, you okay?
Good
yeah,
morning.
I had just like literally, it's a lot happening over here.
Good morning.
My camera down? Okay. Oh. Okay.
Good morning and welcome to Rebecca. You're going to let me do this damn show here, guys. Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
And not care. Is that good, Dwayne? Who doesn't like it?
Or not. My guy today, I need to go get on my black. Rebecca, all black, just like the Omen. How you doing this morning, sis?
I'm good. Look who's on my shirt.
I didn't see that.
Come on, Sponge.
SpongeBob.
Yes, so who was harmonizing with you there?
That was Mark Saunders. He took it. He said, "Hey, send me that track. I think I'm gonna do something to it." So I sent it to him like Friday night, and he sent it back to me like maybe Sunday. And he didn't added layered the vocals on and everything. I'm like, okay, but who I really want to get on there? I need Rebecca Ass to sing on there. Oh, that's who I need.
I was like, he better not say no other name but mine. No other name. Okay. Good morning. Yeah, definitely. I would love to. I love
this. I love that this show rides on the edge of brilliance and just pure tomfoolery ratchet. I love this time of the morning because Rebecca, finish that thought because I am at a place here where what we're doing is such a joy. And I know I'm going off topic here. We got topics to talk about. We got all those things to talk about, but y'all are funny. And y'all be making my day. Most of the time, I just want to sit back and listen to two of y'all just be ridiculous because my God today, I'm gonna digress. Continue.
It go Ben every time, right? He always does this, and I feel like it's just him trying to exit stage left. You are not doing that, Ben. Stop,
Ben. Just stop it. Just let it go.
I want to go to the audience. Y'all, listen.
Yeah, you don't get that opportunity. We need all of Ben goes around from 8 a.m. until 10:30. Okay, and that's just what it is, Ben. Okay,
that's just what it is, bro.
We offered you a day off. You still not taking it. So at the end of the day, you're going to go from, if you on anybody's show, you're going to be on everybody's show. You got Georgia.
I can't have
Shout
you.
out
Nobody
to Georgia,
can.
by the way. Shout out to Georgia, who ministered to me yesterday, girl. Thank you. So shout out to Georgia in the morning. Then you got time to breathe and really say what you need to say without none of us, one of us in your space. And then you get to come over here and we get to make you.
And I love it. And I want to be in the audience just laughing with everybody else.
Nope.
Okay, well, I digress.
Thank you, Baba.
All right, nope. I tried. So then let me just hush and then follow your lead, Captain. Where are we going?
So I just have a quick story, guys, and I'm really sad about it. It's not really a story, and then we can get on to the news, but this will be the last time that you guys see me without my braces again. I got more work to do. So since we've gotten here, I just want to show you guys.
You want to pick? Wait a minute. Are you actually using this precious airtime for people to see and remember you before you put your braces back on?
Back on, yes. So I need you to know that they're coming back on. So if you
join in and give her the single shot, so let her.
I saw that, and that worked right away.
Okay, hang on. So Mark, we got two Marks. We got two Marks in the equation this morning. We got Mark Saunders. I want to hear the rest of that track because it sounded like he was about to break out into some real sick harmonies. I would love to hear that.
I will be third on there. I will be the melody. Okay,
and then
so, all right.
And you help with the hook a little bit. Just give James a little bit of cover, a little air cover on the hook, or whatever y'all decide. But then we have Mark from Australia. Mark, could you please get that full screen capture of Rebecca pre-return of the braces and do your thing, Mark from Australia. Yeah. James, before we go into the news, can you pick up right where we left off, where we brought in the intro so we could hear those harmonies?
Give me 1 second.
Hey, while Bubba's queuing that up, Rebecca gonna have people thinking Act TV just gave us the bag. She out here getting her teeth fit. Look, we two shows in. She out here getting her teeth done. Oh my goodness.
Facts.
Give me.
Fact.
Get my children out of
here. This took a long time. This was a process for me.
No, y'all are not. Y'all are not. Stop it. Okay. Y'all about to make me switch back to the chubby Brian Gumble here. Hang on. And other things. Y'all about to.
And shout out to Act TV. I'm like, dang, they're really. Did they watch the show before? I don't really know, but
did they know they were getting themselves into?
Like, shouts out to y'all, Act TV, for really being like, dang. That's talent right there. Even though like we really are,
people
but you know we're like a.
Too. They said Bubba got a new shirt on. Look, people watching. People watching.
Bubba do got a new shirt on.
Bubba went and got a new shirt.
Y'all done had this shirt for a minute.
Bubba,
wore it like 5 times on here.
Though I like this shirt. Though.
I can't take y'all asses nowhere.
Something's different. There's a glow. There's an Act TV glow on you, Bubba.
What are you doing?
It's giving.
You've been with them for 2 days.
It's giving an update in my bank account. It's giving. No more payment arrangements.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Flag on the play. Wait a minute. Mute everybody's microphone. Mute everybody's microphone.
What's in the news?
Y'all are putting me in a precarious predicament. You're putting me in quite the pickle here, guys.
Not the pickle.
You're putting me in quite the pickle.
Oh, man.
You know, Rebecca, now you know full and damn well. Because you actually posed the right question. You were like, did Act TV actually watch the show? Because you know full damn well we've been doing this ridiculousness for a long time.
A mighty long time.
So maybe, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know which episode they watched. I don't know if they watched all of them. That said, let's get into the news.
Let's get into the news.
Where do you want to go?
Ben, let's talk, I guess.
I wanted to go to Del Rio, but I know every time we get there, it's heavy. So I concur. Let's go with COVID.
So let's start COVID. But we are going to go to Del Rio. We're going to take it right to Texas. But let's start with COVID. Let's start with COVID. Because I'm looking at the spreadsheet. I'm trying to see if I want to make it heavy, if I want to make it light. But
you do realize who we're talking about. We're talking about conservatives. So while the situation is dire and it is pretty bleak, it's still rather hilarious how foolish these people are with their lives. Like, you would think that there literally wasn't a pandemic, Rebecca, the way these people out here acting, just downright.
You would think that right now, for sure. With the way these conservatives really are pushing the agenda, but they've been pushing the agenda from day one of us discussing COVID. When it was an emergency on our cell phones, like when we were getting all this different information.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They've been living the same lives and spreading the same lies. All right, Jesus. They've been living the same lives and spreading the same lies as that time, and I think that's where the problem lies, for real. That's.
But did you act? And I think I've asked this before, but I gotta ask it again because it just don't register to me, y'all. For both of y'all, honestly, did you really expect people to be so committed to their politics that they would die from COVID-19? I saw a shirt, and just for context, there's a shirt at a Trump rally that just recently happened, where a woman said that her family member died of COVID-19 and she's still going to vote for Donald Trump. Another person said that their kid died of, they would rather lose their family to COVID-19 than to lose their family to the fear of COVID-19. And I'm like, y'all, this is next level. They don't care about their own lives. And did y'all see that coming?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
We live in America. There is nothing like I wouldn't have expected if we were to have something different, we would get a different result. But America is we're impatient, we're greedy, we're about self. We will literally take the bait and run with it. And I think that's just what we are. And we see that not only in our political realm, we see that with our everyday people. It's just who we are in America. I hate to say it, but I mean, they are not going. If you tell me after I've been stuck in the house, my spoiled behind has been stuck in the house for 2 weeks.
2 years. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, for me, about a year and a half, because I started to be out at the streets after I got vaccinated. But if you tell me that after 2 weeks or a month, those people, remember when they were asking for their roots to be dyed and they were blaming the nurses? Remember the essential healthcare workers? Remember? They were blaming them. They went to go protest at the hospitals, my God, today, tomorrow, and forever. They literally went to go protest at the hospitals in their pickup trucks with their American flags and said that the essential workers were the problem and were preventing them from going to do their job to save. And half of those people probably got COVID, ain't even living today. Countless stories on the internet. I feel like it's a joke, but it's not. Countless stories on the internet circle back to so many people who have used their platforms to speak against COVID-19. In a manner where it's like, oh, COVID is bad. I will never take COVID. I will survive the American way. Yada square,
the
all
vaccine.
of that. About getting the vaccine. Oh, not only about getting the vaccine, yeah. It was before the vaccine when there was masks. Remember, people was dying when they was walking around maskless. Remember that?
Yep, that's
now
right.
they right here. We got the vaccine, and they talking crazy about the vaccine on Wyclef Jean's internet, in all different kinds of languages, and now they are nowhere to be found. Their wives or their husbands or their partners are having to get onto the internet, take over their accounts, and say, after the last few threads where, hey, COVID is bad. And then, hey, guys, I've gotten, COVID is not real. And then, hey, guys, I'm on, a breathing tube, trying to, I need your prayers too.
I'm on a ventilator.
Hey, guys, this is the wife of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Such and such has passed.
Yep.
There's so many stories, man. I've never seen, and I think they're all lies. But then, me being nosy and having time to scroll at 2 a.m. in the morning, I go and I look, and I'm like, this was a real page. This was a real person.
Yeah. And they're gone.
And it's been a lot of them, y'all. It's been a lot. All of these right-wing people, all of these people that were anti-mask, anti-vax, they waking up dead.
I feel a little bit, the majority of my, I try to be compassionate to everybody, Rebecca. I do. I mean, I know you do a better job of it than me. You extend empathy a lot further than I do. And I think I'm pretty much, I'm pretty compassionate, but I find myself incapable of caring for people who not only don't care for themselves, but want to intentionally harm the rest of us. Right? Sorry. I want to go off too deep in. This is a clip. Naomi Wolf. We covered her in the BPD segment. This is how far they're going with this derangement around the vaccine, around COVID-19, and around this pandemic in general. Take a listen to the second part of Naomi Wolf with Tucker Carlson.
You see a lot of these sound bites in bots on Twitter. Your Dr. Fauci, do it for yourself, your family, and your neighbors. Well, how does my body belong to my neighbors? If I'm not infectious to them, how does my body belong to my neighbors? How does my body belong to society? That is the hallmark of a communist regime.
I mean, notwithstanding the clear logical fallacy that she has to skip over to make that argument in the first place, it's pushing that selfishness that you talked about, Rebecca. This country is just breeded and created. It exists off of selfishness. And she's trying to make everybody say, listen, you literally don't have a responsibility to your neighbor. Do what you want to do. And oh, by the way, you also have the right to go into their space without a mask, to go in social distancing. So they're literally not only asking for the freedom for their own bodily autonomy. They want to hurt us.
Come in my space without no mask. Come in my space without no mask. Come in any part of this bubble right here. You will have no face. You won't even have a blonde streak in your hair. You won't have your wig on. And that's for my ladies who are laced up. Try it. Come in my space without no mask. Since you have the right to come in my space without no mask, I have the right to defend myself. You are putting my life at risk.
That's right.
Catch these hands. Catch these hands. I don't play that.
Catch me outside.
Yes. How about that? Don't even catch me outside. Catch me right now in this line at Target where you feel like you could be breathing down my neck when they got these posts on the floor that's giving you spaces to stand on. Kind of tell me it's your American right. I will touch you and everybody you're with, Granny. Like, I'm not kidding, but I'm kidding. No, but seriously.
Wait, James. Angry black woman attacks an elderly white woman.
Aggressive.
No, wait.
In Target. In other news.
That's exactly how it would be. It would be I wouldn't get the opportunity to just go and faint. But, there's some black girls that I admire that will be out here like, oh, she stepped into my space, let me faint. But I don't think I'll get the same grace. I really don't, because I ain't got it. I literally don't play that. She can say that, she can promote that, but that's wrong to promote. That's wrong to promote that. Like we discussed, and we can go back to the Nicki Minaj thing. It is wrong I agree. It is 100% wrong to promote those things. But this lady is out here saying to people, do what you want. Do what you want. Go in people's spaces. It's fine. She's giving directions. She's telling people what to do. She's literally giving directions, telling people what to do and how to do it. And trust me, you know what's going to happen. They are going to do it. But who are you? What makes you the expert in that area? Can you also give examples while you're saying that about people who have gone into people's bubbles and what has happened to them? Because there are accounts and there are stories out there about those people. Then we have other folks, why doesn't she produce the examples and the numbers of the people that we just discussed who are countlessly, they've lost their lives because they followed this kind of rhetoric? That's right. Can we talk about that? Can we point that out and what happens with those people? It's almost like she's saying, if you want to die, just die. Like,
hey, you know what time it is.
Stop that. No.
Dwayne?
Just die.
Dwayne?
I'm not going to get the vaccine. Then die. What do we do? Argue with you? I'm not on the debate team. This isn't mock trial.
This ain't mock trial, girl.
About the side effects? I'm worried about the disease. They're tracking you through the microchip. They're tracking you through the phone you're watching this on. Get the vaccine.
Oh, man.
No, that was really good. I didn't call for that, but that was perfect, you guys. What did you guys do that without me one day or something? I don't know.
I love it when a plan comes.
Like maybe last segment.
I like that. I really do.
Oh, we get PTO?
Wait a minute.
Oh, we don't ask you PTO?
We ain't been with these people for 2 whole days.
David didn't know either. David, is that new? I got a PTO library. I got a bank. I get 2-week vacation. No? Okay, cool.
Setting proper expectations aside, here's what you have to understand. For us to do the brilliant things that we do on a daily basis, I actually have to make space for this insanity from time to time because that was rather brilliant. I want to go to another clip that animates this or elevates this conversation even more. It's a story told in 3 parts. It's an anti-vax right-wing commentator by the name of Josh Bernstein, and he has been sick with COVID-19. And he's stuck in quarantine for the last week, and he is not handling it particularly well. Let's run the clip.
Resist the vaccine at all costs. Resist microchips. Stop wearing face masks. Go outside. Breathe in some fresh air. Let me worry about the government and everybody else trying to destroy your freedoms, okay? That's what I eat, sleep, and breathe to do for all of you, and will continue to do it till I can't breathe anymore. I'm not getting an injection. I'm not getting microchip. And if anybody tries to do it to me, or I'm sure millions of Americans out there, guess what? They're going to get a lead injection. This thing is brutal. It's not the flu. It's not. It's, with the flu, it's like, okay, you're sick, you got a headache, you're sneezing, cold, stuffy, achy, this, that, right? Nah, this isn't like that. I literally have 0 flu-like symptoms. I don't have anything. The only thing I have is an absolutely unbearable, lethargic, tired feeling. It's one of those things where I just gotta rest. I'm not in my normal studio. I'm in my bedroom, believe it or not. I turned it into a little studio to do this. And so we can call it, I guess, the COVID quarantine cave. I give a less now, even more, based on the things that I say, who hears them, who I offend. I really just don't care anymore, to be quite honest. I'm feeling stronger each and every day, but I just don't give a fuck. I'll be honest, I just don't give a fuck. I don't care who hears it. I don't care who it offends anymore. I'm just done.
I'm just done. So to all those left-wing out there that wished me death and wished me horrible things, go mothers, okay? Go mothers deep and hard, because I don't give a especially the mother at Newsweek, at Right Wing Watch, all those people on the left, every swinging mother on the left that said something nasty about me, go your mothers. Okay?
Hey, he said, get my mind.
Oh, God.
Why is it that I know that? Hey, all I heard in my head as so those are three different clips over a span of I don't know how many weeks. But all I could hear after all that crap he was talking about not taking the vaccine, all I could hear was SpongeBob 3 weeks later.
Right
and then he comes.
There you go.
I got you.
Hey, while he was talking, all I could think of was this.
We're trying to kill ya! USA! You're gonna be dead!
You guys, I don't know what that group of people. So why did it have to be all of that? Like I was attacked on every. I felt like I was attacked on every different level because you decided to. What happened? It really went from 0 to 1,000.
That escalated quickly.
To 1,000.
We have to go have sex with our mothers long enough. Like, why did it get there? Because you decided you didn't want to follow protocol and you got COVID-19. And then you wanted to say, here's my thing about it. You know, your things start to change in your life. You start seeing things. Now you start saying things against the whole, Bible that you were following, that right wing Bible. You start to realize that Jesus' hair was kind of kinky, and you start to realize.
Hey.
You start to realize all these things, and because he said. This is not the flu. But remember, they were like, it's just the common flu. It's the same thing. Remember that? Y'all remember that? Now look at
Dwayne, rewind a little bit, like to the previous clip. Because, don't he look a little smaller when he in that room?
Oh, wow.
So look right there. And then, Dwayne, once you fast forward, you'll see in the
Oh, man. He on that COVID diet.
No, he looks more flushed to me.
No,
he looks more flushed.
Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Yeah, he going through.
Yeah,
that's what's wrong.
No, I think he's in the stage of he's been in the house now. He's been in the closet, like his literal closet. He's been in the closet, and he's not. That's all right, Ben. He's not. He's not really. I gotta go. This Tuesday show. Hey, Act TV, my bad.
No, you see how Ben tied it back in on the clock this morning when we was talking about R. Kelly being guilty on all of that? That was a good callback right there.
Yeah.
I thought about that too. It's like we don't do R. Kelly no more.
So like R. Kelly, this man is trapped behind some bars or some quarantine rather. Go ahead, Rebecca. He
is like R. Kelly. He's trapped in something. He's trapped in the closet. He's trapped in his own. Like he did this to himself, Ben. Like R. Kelly, he did this to himself, and this is the issues. This is what I'm talking about. We got so many people down the line, like that are spewing this narrative out there, and then it hits them. It hits them, and then boom, these same folks, I'm about to say his camera died. It hits them, and then boom.
No, it was the boom. Your boom knocked this camera. Go ahead.
And then boom, like now they're changing their ways of speaking. But why all of that though? The aggression, and maybe it's more of a come to Jesus moment for you, or come to whoever moment for you. He gives me a little bit of Satanist. I'm not sure, but whoever it is, come to that person and be like, you know what? At the end of the day, I was wrong. Sometimes you really have to say that I was wrong. I was wrong. Yeah. Instead of cussing folks out, and it's that narcissism that a lot of these people on the right wing hold, and it's like, let me blame those people, but I'm still gonna do the thing like get vaccinated and get treated and get that stuff. But I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to let you know that you were right. I'm never going to let you know that, you know, that all of that, all those things that you were saying could have helped me. I'm never going to say that to you. I'm going to cuss you out. I'm going to make you feel bad for it. I'm going to make you feel guilty for it. And at this point, I'm going to get help from those same people that I'm cussing out.
At the same exact time, Rebecca, you said it. He did this to himself.
Yeah.
He did, and not only to himself, he did it to his audience. Because how many of his audience members followed his advice and didn't have the luxury of having mild symptoms? I mean, if the worst that you got from COVID-19 was to be lethargic, then you really did come out pretty easy, my guy. And you're all upset because you're stuck in quarantine because your wife probably told you to get your COVID-laced breath in that room and stay away from her children. She probably got better sense than you. But then again, she probably could be right there with you because we're dealing with an entire cabal of people who swear they represent God, right? And they swear they represent liberty, and they swear they represent the best interests of this country, this empire, but they're literally doing the things that are going to get them killed, their family killed, this democracy destroyed, and humanity extinct. What?
And I won't forget the man who died. His camera went out. Who say they're right for me as we stand up. Yes, we do. Remember, they're looking at people that died for them. They're looking at the people.
Won this morning, boy.
It's crazy. They're looking, but Dwayne has everything ready. They're looking at the people who died of COVID-19 with the ones that were anti-mask. Remember anti-maskers, and now we have the anti-vaxxers. They're looking at those who died as patriots. They're looking at those who are proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free to have my choice. Because that was the woman that we saw on that one show, right? Who was saying you're free to pull up on people. You're free to be in people's space. You're free to not wear your mask. You're free to not get vaccinated. Okay, right? That's the rhetoric that they're putting out there because that's the American way. That's it. And then you got those who died. That person who died the other day, a mask. He didn't wear his mask in the name of America. He didn't wear his mask. That's quite American. And that's what makes me proud to wear the red, white, and blue. That's what makes me proud, God damn it. That's what makes me proud. And that's what they're doing out there.
I feel Rebecca coming on because that's really what they say.
That's what they're doing out there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to get so many more. Then we got these regular folks in the closet that's getting paid to do all of this. We got people on these right-wing news channels who are getting paid to say these things. We got people, on the major news networks who are giving long, stretched out, drawn out monologues and who are fishing for people of color who may be confused about this damn vaccine and then bringing them onto their side. They literally, they're looking for the weak links so that they can say, well, look at this black person and this person and this and that that's saying the same thing that we've been saying for so long, right?
Kyrie
and this is what they're doing. And then we have the teachers and leaders, right? We have these one woman. I just heard of a story of a teacher, and I forget out of what state she was in. She came to protest wearing masks at the school. And she came dressed up like Rosa Parks to protest it.
Oh, in blackface.
Shut the hell up.
Yes, like in blackface. This is a true story.
I heard that story. Yeah.
And so, and so that we got the extremists, common folk that are doing these crazy stuff. And then you got the evangelicals, which we do show all the time, who are putting out the same rhetoric. It's all over the place. And it's almost like we need to save ourselves. Are we in some kind of zombie apocalypse? Or it's almost like that, but we're not going to go there. But yeah.
James, we are in the bad timeline. We are in the bad timeline where they're able to convince other people that this irrational madness actually makes sense. And they're leading us. Julia,
I'm ready to take the red pill, whatever pill it is, to get me out of here because this is BS. Because we are in the matrix, god dang it. This is the matrix to the 10th power. Because these people stupid.
And they're trapped.
Really stupid.
They're trapped behind the veil of their. Rebecca, you said it. This is what it is. They cannot say, "My bad, I was wrong."
Yeah.
Because they can't say, my bad, I was wrong. Like the narrative of Pharaoh in the Bible, these evangelicals have hardened their hearts and they dying. The bad thing, I could leave it at that and just laugh, right? But they're killing other folks. But it is directly connected to January 6th. Like you mentioned, James.
Okay, pizza together for me. Pizza together for me.
You see what we do around here. Here's a clip of Trump-loving evangelist Lance Wallnau. You know I messed that one up. Who's saying that the pipe bombs planted on Capitol Hill the night before January 6th insurrection were planted there by people who wanted optics for an incident, which by that he means the pipe bombs of January 6th. He's claiming that they were planted by the Democrats, by the media, and the FBI in order to make Republicans look crazy. Let's run the clip.
There was no weapons in the crowd. The pipe bombs they found conveniently located at the, you never notice that there's no story on that? Washington has an ubiquitous, it's like an octopus of 1,000 cameras. And whenever they give you something they want you to see on January 6th, it's always some grainy thing like someone's, camera taking a picture of Bigfoot in the forest. You can't figure out what you're even looking at. They've got the information on the pipe bomb because I think the pipe bombs were planted there by the people that wanted an optics for an incident in the Capitol. This is why a program like this is important. Because in the rush of information, we get desensitized to going back and exposing the forensic crime scene data that shows, oh my gosh, maybe the FBI and maybe the Democratic Party and maybe political operatives in D.C. were working together to create a narrative that would shut down the certification resistance movement in its tracks and turn over power to the machine that took the election by force.
Everybody who speaks with confidence ain't got something to say, Rebecca.
I wasn't ready. He was boring me.
It's hell. All right. It's like, okay, hurry up.
He was boring me. He literally sent me to sleep like 3 times. Like, it's just giving. Who gives a darn? Like, I don't like that they out here making these lies. We are literally in October. We could just say because black folks. It'd be like it'd be September 15th, and then we'd be like, it's October 10th. Okay, we mid-October. And this man is literally trying to bring back conspiracy theories from January 6th. If you're not going to tell the truth, I don't even want to hear it. We already know what happened. We have the accounts of police officers on the ground that were there. We have the accounts of the people who on the ground that were there. We have the accounts of the elected officials who were there. Some of them that were connected. Everything. Now, everybody might not get got. The feds was looking. I don't think they looking no more. But everybody might not get got. But we have true accounts. We have video. We saw what was going on. Pipe bombs. Like, we have alerts. Like, how much?
He don't want you to believe your own eyes, Rebecca.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. And fools. Only a fool. And there's so many fools. I've been a fool in my life in love. But only a fool would really believe what these people are saying after what we've seen. That is what I think a lot of times media, period, they'll be so choosy with what they show sometimes, and then turn around and have somebody debunk the thing that we're looking at. And I'm like, we
saw it with our own eyes. The George Floyd trial. I mean, not the trial, but the videotape of George Floyd.
Every time. Most recently, these Haitians, right at the border, they wanted us to believe that what was happening was legal.
You better finesse that thing.
They want us to believe that these Haitians there was no mistreatment. And in this whole thing, like, what you see what I'm saying, Ben? This conspiracy leads to the due process thing, right? when we're here believing these lies, and because the power of the right is just so strong, it gives them time. Let's investigate. It gives them time to draw up these kind of stories. And from all of that time, from January 6th to November 1st, today's November 1st, because
you just skipped all the way to November, Jay.
Like, we are here now. We are at the end of the year. Now you guys are bringing this back up and wanting to bring the story back up for people to be like,
James, you must.
Well, that's something that could have. That's something I think that we should look into that. I think that we should start looking into that. And what that does is bring up the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world.
That's it.
What that does is bring up the Alex Joneses of the world. And that's what we get.
Did y'all see that tweet from Lauren Boebert, the Congresswoman? She was like, I woke up with a really bad headache and I took a Tylenol and I'm just waiting on everyone else to take the Tylenol so the Tylenol can work. She thought she was being funny in the context of like the vaccine. You don't take the if I take the vaccine, but she really thought she was making a point. And when you bring up Marjorie Taylor Greene, you bring up like the kind of stupidity, like Republicans, conservatives, white supremacy, y'all are electing y'all village idiots. We have our own. We don't elect them into the White House. You guys put Donald Trump there. And one thing I'm wondering, James, Rebecca, is why is the Venn diagram of the people who are out here at the school board meeting shouting about the mask mandates, why is that Venn diagram 100% overlap with the January 6th big liars?
Because it's just, I don't know what else to say, Ben. Every time I talk about this, I don't know why we talk about it, but I feel like we have to. But it's the same thing every time.
Every day.
I really just I want to be on a resort. Like having drinks
in the Matrix
with somebody's son. And I don't want to have to be bothered by an anti-masker or an anti-vaxxer or you don't get to be in my face because I'm not bothering you. Don't come into my space. I will knock your teeth out. It's like
in Jesus' name,
in Christ Jesus' name, and
damn that in Bubba's name, because you step in my face, I'm gonna knock you the hell out. Because I'm keeping my mask on, you back the hell up with your COVID.
Listen,
girl, back the hell up.
Listen, because there are breakthrough cases. Let me tell you something. That you said it, Rebecca. That's self-defense. I'm sorry. If you expect to have the ability to come to my space and put me in don't let my kids be around me. Yeah, never mind.
And I know we're all going to be, but this is what the thing is. People don't understand when they do this kind of craziness, it's a ripple effect. It's not only going to go from people believing it, it's going to be people trying it out, right?
That's
people
right.
Really stepping into people's spaces because they feel like that's their American right to show that. We see what's happened. We see people, yes, we are going crazy. Dang, my phone just died. But we are going crazy in this pandemic, or we were, and there was cabin fever, and we saw people going crazy in these streets. They didn't know what to do with themselves. Now we have those who are believing everything that's being said, walking into stores, feeling like they need to walk into stores to strip up 6 feet apart signs because that's American, or to go there and yell out in the middle of a Walmart where people are peacefully shopping with their mask on. It's my right not to have a mask. Like, what are you doing? You a fool for that? Like, you are a fool for that. I want to talk about even in our Black community, right? And I love him. And I was there at his concert. Yes, I was. But even him, I've had to check him in his comment section and talk to a couple of people in his comment section about. Now, this is different, Ben. Like, you had the Nicki Minaj who had confusion.
Which artist are you talking about, though?
We're talking about Tank, whom I love, right?
Oh,
but this is wrong. Tank, I believe, and he hasn't stated that outright, but from the way that he's using his platform, he literally is telling people, it's your choice, but the vaccine looks like, and then we'll post a conspiracy video, right? It's your choice, but da-da-da-da. Now, I'll say this about Raheem Devon. He did a moment of silence for the people who died of COVID. And acknowledge that COVID is a thing that is ongoing and for us to protect ourselves and things like that. He had that conversation with his audience. He used that time, right? And then somebody calls out a name of someone. And he's like, let's be respectful now. This is a moment of silence. But then he took it back and was like, you know what? You were probably calling out the name of your loved one that died from COVID-19. He said, I'm going to count down, and I want us to all, and after this moment of silence, to yell out the name of somebody who's passed from COVID-19. Jesus. That place was filling up with names. Everybody yelling out a name. Everybody yelling out a name of a loved one. Everybody yelling out a name of a loved one. And I think that made it so real to me. And I hope Tank was in the back like, dang, Raheem done did a damn good old show. And now he want to bring up COVID. Damn it.
That's why he did 3 songs, Rebecca.
That's why he did 3 songs.
That's why he did
I was thinking the same thing.
Exactly.
Maybe I deserve to be off this stage and talking about the right stuff, getting this goddamn vaccine. Cool, period.
But that made me look at it like, dang, there's a lot of hurt right now in here. And we've lost a lot of people. I didn't think the room was going to roar with names, you guys. I did not think that park was going to roar with names. This is how real it is. But this is also, and this is to your point that you've been making to me for a minute, and what I've been saying as well. But if you are unsure about the vaccine, I hope somebody can, like, especially as somebody who is as big as an artist, I hope like your PR people that's around you that's vaccinated, the people that you work with, somebody assist you. But if you're out here giving direction, because I feel like that's what Tank is doing, giving direction to folks, and telling them and throwing out conspiracy theories on your page. He even threw out a conspiracy theory about Haiti.
This is Tank.
Mm-hmm. And it was problematic for me. And this is recent. And this was where he's saying, like, why were there all of a sudden like camera crew at the border? This is a setup. But it wasn't in the way where we were saying that it was a setup for them to be sent there. It was like, are those really Haitians? Like, are those, is the government trying to get us to look? It was like, it was the weirdest thing. It's like, this is what I'm saying. Like, we can't be doing that. Not even us. Nobody should be doing that. Black, white, yellow, purple, green, brown, blue. I don't care. Nobody should be doing that. Like, if you don't want to take the vaccine, die. Yeah.
Then die.
If you don't want to take the vaccine, stay home. Like I always say this, stay home. Stay masked up, stay away from people. Like, you just are going to have to live a limited type of life. You got to be aware of that. Even the vaccinated though, guys, this is not only down to those who are not vaccinated, even us, the vaccinated, we still need to take precautions.
That's right.
Absolutely.
We can go give it to other people. Like, you have to really understand this. Like, that we can still get COVID-19. It's just that we're not going to lose a lung. We're not going to lose 50% of our breathing capacity. Like, we'll still be mobile, but at the end of the day, we can still give it to somebody too. So don't be walking around here vaccinated and stupid. Don't do that either.
That's right. We
all have to take up the responsibilities, you guys, all of us. Each and every one of us. And if for some, we gotta be teachers to them. Not everybody, because I don't do emotionally unstable creatures. But for those who are open to understanding and hearing things out, I am open to educating you on that. And I'm learning every day with this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. But we all have a responsibility, every single one of us.
Yeah.
And I have the responsibility to punch somebody in their face if they come into my bubble.
Absolutely. Tell you better tie it all up. You say zoop. Still gonna hit you in your face.
Hey, listen. If somebody wants the right to put me and my family at risk by coming into my space without a mask and they're not vaccinated, and my kids. Anyway. Coming up at 10 o'clock, Pascal, the Pascal Show. We want to support our brother. There is a live stream that he's doing this morning that is going on right now. It's a phenomenal interview. We want to make sure that you get a chance to go over at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time if you are not a patron. If you are a patron, we are headed over to the after party in about 8 minutes. Patreon.com/LikeItOrNot, where we actually let our hair down probably just a little bit more than we did this morning already. Is definitely the place that you... Yeah.
Okay. U.S.
But I was doing a lot.
But it was it was everything. I mean, because honestly, that last thing that you said, I want to move. we only have a few minutes left. I kind of wanted to move to another story, but you really are fleshing out this thing kind of in a really meaningful fashion, because it's boiling down to just the difference of who wants the right to harm us versus us having the right to protect us. And while, intimating violence in terms of like somebody getting your space, we're gonna pop them. Honestly, you're not wrong, Rebecca, because these people are getting folks killed. When you said Raheem Devon did what he did, and everybody in that place started shouting out names. We're not going to do that right now because I ain't got the emotional bandwidth to handle that, but I got a couple of names myself. Everybody knows. And they want
also,
to kill more.
Pascal is not doing the show this morning. Chuck Diesel just said.
I had that wrong. Okay, so either way it goes, go over to his channel and subscribe. Put his graphic up anyway.
And either way it goes, go over his channel to subscribe. But if you are not a patron, like you should, all 400, 500 of y'all watching right now, y'all should be. And well, that's 500 on YouTube, because I know that you guys are watching us all over on these different platforms. And I saw the numbers over there. I see y'all real cute. I
come on now.
Become a patron today. I see y'all, and don't worry, I see you guys on Twitch too. Shouts out to Twitch. Shouts out to Facebook. Shouts out to what else we got? Discord. We got we in the crevices of everything. Okay.
Then we got Reddit too. We got Reddit.
We got a Reddit. I didn't even know.
I don't know. I'm asking. Killer, I don't know either. I don't even use half that stuff. Look.
I want you. Okay, look. I'm gonna do a thing real quick. We got a few more minutes. I'm gonna do a thing.
Boy.
I need you guys to head over to our Instagram page first and foremost, because we got some millennials in the building. I know y'all like Instagram. I know y'all do. So go over to our Instagram page. Get those numbers up. I'm not talking about my personal one, but if you want to, you can follow that too. But get over to Instagram and follow a Like It or Not show. We will have some infographics for this so that you guys can see where to go follow, but follow Like It or Not show. Like It or Not show on Instagram. Get those numbers up. We're gonna as we grow, and we're going into season 2 right now. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of developments, and you're going to want to know. We're going to start going live on IG. It's going to be like the after party, but on the weekends, I was thinking me and Bubba could do a little 30-minute something, just to talk to you guys real quick. I'm not going to be doing that across every platform because I just don't have the time. But Instagram will be one of the places that I will be at. So, we want you guys to start, growing with us. You guys are our family. So head over to our Instagram page, boost those numbers up. We have yet to get our Twitter page together. I know that you guys been dying to figure that, to find us on there. I know that. That's on me. We haven't, I know Ben has, his kids to tend to after he gets off air.
Rebecca, it's just, when it comes to some technology, I'm a boomer, and I just don't want to go through the recovery password. I just hate that, but I would love for you to put it on. I would do it. I'll put it on my list to do today, so they can follow us on Twitter as well.
Okay. Yeah, and then the OnlyFans is coming by the end of the month as well too. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned.
No, seriously, because if you guys, the more that you guys watch us and the more that you guys enjoy this is this Benjamin Dixon network that we're under, and we're proud to be under. But the more that you guys, do that, you help us grow. You really do. Yeah. You help us move forward so that we can be right in line with those right-wing channels. And if ever I see them in these debate streets, we can give them these political street hands. We can definitely we can be up, be up there fighting the good fight. Look, fighting the good fight. You know what I'm saying? So I really, absolutely want everyone, if you haven't already, if you can't become a patron financially, that's all right. Just support us by a follow, a like, a subscribe. We have a YouTube page that is for Like It or Not specifically. Head over there as well. Get those numbers up. You know how it is in today's day and age. The more the numbers go up, the more attention we'll get. The more people will see that we deserve. Baby, I deserve. They'll see that we deserve. Okay, and that is deserve to be out of.
Wrong with our friend?
To be out of that corporate job that has me chained by my wrist and my feet.
Bound. Unbound me, Satan, please.
Woman, thou art loose.
Loose me.
Loose me, Lord.
Corporate America. corporate overlords.
Take your hands off of me.
They ought to write you a check to keep you quiet. That's what they ought to do. Because
if I do really,
wait,
if you guys
save
free
it
me
for the after party.
Now you gotta say that part though, because the people that we need to be talking to is not gonna be in the after party. So she gotta tell to these people.
Drop it. What you got, Rebecca?
I'll say this last part, and you could take us out, Bubba. But if you guys free me, I'll be able to really. If you free me and Bubba and I, I don't know what you're doing, Dwayne, but you said you might need to be free too. I don't know, but and David. If you free all of us all around the board, you're gonna allow us to be here to really,
Becca.
If we go into the office, you won't find me again. Do you want that? Do you want that?
Are you threatening
the people?
No, but real talk.
They really want me in the office. And
let me dovetail that, Rebecca.
And I really don't want to go into the office. I really want to continue doing this with you all. I love doing this with you all every single morning. So
I can't stand Rebecca.
Become a patron today at patreon.com/like it or not. I love you so much, and I mean that with everything in me. And I will see all of you guys who won't be at the after party tomorrow. And I can't wait to see y'all.
I cannot. James, there's something wrong with Rebecca.
You just not figuring it out?
I'm just not figuring it out.
I'm all right.
I'm just putting two and two together, my friend. But no, real talk. I'm gonna say less, and I'm gonna say this. Y'all need some real fighters out in these streets. Y'all don't need these play people who just playing in this game of political theater. Now, you need some people who are gonna set us free. And Rebecca sounds, and James, and Georgia, and definitely Dr. Carl Mack. My God, today. All of
who
us.
ain't never come back.
He coming back. He
went up the stairs and they never come back down.
Come back no more. That's what he did.
Shout out to Brother Mac who went up the stairs on Family Matters and ain't came back yet, but he'll be back.
He ain't came back then.
I talked to him the other day. He's coming back. Shout out to Georgia Ford. Shout out to David David G.
Oh, she's the truth.
Dwayne in the background. Shout out to the family over at Act TV, everyone. Thank you so much for
We got the double D's in the background.
We got my God, today must go with my friend
D's.
James. Take us to the after
double
party.
D's in the background. David,
cut the public
stream.
Double D's. I can't stand y'all people, man. Make sure that if you're not going over your tea, you drink whatever it is. Patreon.com. That's like that, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all get you. Because then y'all gonna get jams like this. Going down. Like it or not, it's starting now. Oh, like it or not, it's going down. Shout out to Mark Saunders again. Y'all stick around. Oh, Rebecca Azor is coming out. You know she got a story for us. Oh, Benjamin is coming through. That's my dog, all through and through. Oh, I am your DJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am. Chuck, this like you, bro. Chat room, like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, it's about to go down. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, don't stick around. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, it's going down.
Boy, you had me from the start. By the way
That's right, I remix my own shit. Welcome to the after party.
And I felt your energy. Wasn't used to being loved and treated differently, yeah. But something went wrong.
Welcome, y'all. Make sure you get some coffee.
And now we're on completely
mimosa. It's the after party, man.
Let's go where we were, when no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there. Don't you stress the flow. You're trying to pick the pace up. We should take it slow. Baby, keep your focus. Don't you make me change my mind. If you love me, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you. Baby, don't you. Baby, don't you switch up the vibe.
Right, Church Road. You have to reshape you. Lauren Strada, thank you.
Baby,
Patricia, good morning. Industrial Arts, good morning.
Don't you switch up the vibe. Boy, you take me on a trip. Always up and down and back and forth in merry-go-round. I just wanna get it right. But when you go left, I'm stuck here feeling left.